The miracle of the loaves and the fish is one of the most important miracles that Jesus works. Now, why do I say that? Well, all four Gospels of the New Testament recall that miracle. Mark mentions it twice. We'll be reading about this miracle every Sunday of August from the Gospel of John. The whole 6th chapter of John's Gospel is devoted to it. The miracle is important because it summarizes the mission of Jesus Christ. Why did he come? It also helps us to understand one of his greatest gifts, the Holy Eucharist. John gives us an interesting description of the miracle in his Gospel. A large crowd follows Jesus into a deserted place, a mountain near the Sea of Galilee. They've come from their homes, from different towns along the Sea of Galilee to see him. The crowd comes because they saw the signs that Jesus was performing on the sick. Some of them, we presume, were attracted by Jesus' teaching. They want to know more. But others have come because they saw the signs Jesus was performing, and they're curious, just curious. But there's one thing the same about them all. They're in a deserted place, they're hungry, and they need to eat. It's the time of Passover, the time when God freed the Jews hungering for freedom in Egypt. Now Jesus stands before a hungry crowd. John's Gospel describes the miracle of the loaves and fish differently than the other Gospels do. They say that Jesus' disciples bring the situation of the crowd to his attention. They tell him it's getting late. These people are hungry, they should be sent away. In John's Gospel, Jesus notices the hunger of the crowd. Where can we buy food for them to eat? Jesus asks his disciple Philip. We don't have money enough to feed them. Only a boy with a couple of loaves and some fish, the disciples reply. Let them sit down on the grass, Jesus says. He blesses the loaves and fish and gives them to the crowd as much as they wanted. More than enough. Baskets are left over. So who is the large crowd? This is not just a crowd of people in Galilee long ago. The large crowd that comes to Jesus is the whole human race. Jesus, the Son of God, recognizes the hunger of humanity. God sees the hunger of humanity. Mark in his Gospel says simply that Jesus' heart went out to them. He had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. God's heart goes out to humanity. You notice in our Gospel reading that in his compassion, Jesus cares for the crowd's immediate needs first. They need to eat. God always sees our immediate needs first. They need his care first. Feed the hungry. Give drink to the thirsty. Take care of those in need. What God says we will be judged by, God himself makes his first concern. So, Jesus tells the crowd to rest and to sit down, and he feeds them more than they could ask for. But there's a deeper hunger that God wants to fill. The crowd that day wanted to make Jesus king because they could see only the bread and the fish. They see only a sign that they might never have to worry again about eating and drinking. They didn't see their deeper longing, their deeper hunger. God wants us to have so much more. The one who eats the bread I will give will live forever, Jesus says. Our reading today reminds us we always stand before God, who sees our hunger as individuals and who sees the hunger of our world. God's hand is open to feed us. So give us this bread, the true bread that gives life to the world.